You're listening to the Latino Nerd.
Yay!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Latino Nerd. And joining me for this episode, she's good. It has to be like her fourth episode now, and I'm okay with this because it's always great to have her. Welcome back, B.
Hi.
I got a little tongue
Glad to be
tied
back.
there. I'm got
That's
got
okay.
got to get my Fauci ouchie tomorrow, so I'm a little.
The nerves are starting to hit you.
Yeah, I'm like.
Hey,
But,
at least you'll be
and this
fully vaccinated by Memorial Day weekend.
very true. I could do nothing. I'm gonna do exactly what I'm doing right now.
Listen, I mean, at least there's that. You get to have an actual summer this year.
Very true. Very true.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I cannot complain about that.
No.
I mean, I'll find a way, but
Yeah.
right now I can't complain.
Yeah. But at least like it'll be like a little bit safer to like travel out of state and everything.
Very true.
Depends on where you go.
All dressed up and no,
All
vaccinated
dressed up and nowhere to go. It's a dead man's party. It definitely is a dead man's party. Was that too soon?
I'll allow it.
Sorry.
I'll allow it. So this episode, we are going to talk about Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat!
The movie is finally upon us. Before we get started, I guess this is supposed to be the part where I tell you that there are spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, this is where you click off, don't watch, don't listen, go watch the movie and come back. It is now playing in theaters and it's on HBO Max until I believe May 22nd.
Mm-hmm. I watched it on HBO Max because I did not want to pay money to see that movie. Sorry.
That's fair. That seems to be the reaction that I see from a lot of people. But
I felt better
once you guys have watched the episode.
No, I'm sorry. I was gonna say I felt better spending the money watching Demon Slayer than watching Mortal Kombat, which, by the way, was a fire ass movie. That was so good. If anybody here,
up the last few episodes and then.
Oh my gosh! If anybody listening has not seen that movie and you finished the first season, go watch it because it's one of the very few anime movies that just very beautifully bridges the gap between the finale of the first season and sets it up for the second season.
That's refreshing because I enjoy anime movies, but a big problem that I have with them is that
a lot of them aren't canon.
They're not significant.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they're not significant in the grand scheme of things.
Like the Yu Yu Hakusho movie. Man, I love that series, but that movie was not okay.
Right, exactly.
And Inuyasha had like 5 movies.
I feel the same way about like the 34 Dragon Ball Z movies.
Oh, just continue this series. Like you don't have to do all these movies that Toriyama like literally probably did not ask for, but is okay with the money coming in from it.
Oh, absolutely. I would be too.
Like, all right, cool. This is unnecessary, but no money's unnecessary. Also, Toriyama talks exactly like me.
Big bonus. I love it. Now, with that said, if you guys haven't seen the movie yet, Mortal Kombat or Demon Slayer, as always, ignore anything that you've read or seen. Go into it, form your own opinions.
Yeah, you got to go into this with an open mind. It's a movie.
Look, it helps some people to turn off their brain, But fortunately, if you want to hear two nerds with microphones brag about it for the next 45 minutes to an hour, then you're in the right place.
Hell yeah.
So, after a decade in development hell, years of actual development, and a global pandemic, Mortal Kombat finally hit theaters 2 weeks, 2 weeks now, 2 weeks ago,
We did not ask
and
for
actually was in a
this.
very, very,
We did not ask for this, but we
it
got
was
it
in a
anyway.
very, very close range. I love it. Now see, um, I'm gonna be honest. I enjoyed it, but I think part of it had to do with the fact that aside from fatalities, I wasn't expecting much else from the film.
Me neither. You can't listen. This is a movie that's based on a very violent video. One of the probably one of the most violent video game franchises,
Absolutely.
as in terms of fighting games, because we of course have like all the other stuff going on
Yeah.
with video games. But like as far as fighting games go, what the only other contender that Mortal Kombat has as far as violence is what Killer Instinct, and who has played that game since Super Nintendo? You know what I mean? Um no, I actually do not. I have not played that game since Super Nintendo. Um and there's a reason why, because like
That's a shame.
once Microsoft got the rights to Rare, everything kind of went down. Look at Banjo Kazooie nuts and bolts.
I can see that, but and I have to I love fighting games, and I'm also a big Killer Instinct fan. Retro Studios actually did a really, really good job with the reboot.
Okay, I'll have to check it out then. For
It
Xbox,
was
right? Of
bare bones. Yeah, it was bare bones as shit at launch.
course.
But once they added all the characters and added new stages and finishers and all
They
that,
have new they have
it
new
actually ended up becoming one of my favorite fighters.
ooh. Ooh. Because you know what? I like the music with Killer Instinct, I really do. And I listen to some of
Right.
like the newer ones, and what the two top no, actually the three top favorites that I had as far as the music, because soundtracks are big to me with music and music with movies and video games. The soundtrack is
Absolutely.
very important because it sets the whole atmosphere to it. It's just, it sets the foundation and everything. It lets you know the tone of what you're about to get into. So my top three favorites, honestly, when it comes to like the reboot of their themes, had to be Spinal, Riptor, and Saberwolf.
I do like Saberwolf's music. I actually really like everything about Saberwolf in the reboot because, well, I can't really call it a reboot because apparently the story actually is canon to the
Okay.
original Killer Instincts. So, like, I love Saberwolf in this one because he's like legitimately terrifying now.
Oh yeah.
Because it was like in the original, he was like a scientist who was trying
Yeah.
to find a cure for his lycanthropy. And
Mm-hmm.
while he was still like a werewolf body, he still had the mind of the doctor.
Yes.
Whereas in the new one, he's gone like full on
He's
feral.
like
Like there are
full.
no traces of his.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
there's like no traces of his human side at all.
yikes. I love it. And I love
And
Riptor because like that like even like in the original game, that is some terrifying music. That just like that's like a
oh
real oh
yeah,
shit kind of atmosphere. There's blood all over the floor, and she's like it's just looking at you like come here. And then like the way that like it would walk towards you when it would just like arch its back up and everything and like leer at you. just in case it didn't want to like completely annihilate you with its tail, it does leer at you.
Yeah.
So you got that,
Um.
and
One of
I'll
the
never like Jago in that game because he's a complete
now
because he's too like here. I'm like every Street Fighter trope in one character with my knockoff Hadouken.
that's fair. That's fair.
What he says literally sounds like Hadouken.
I believe it's Echo Kukin, but yeah,
Echo
still.
Kyoken! Hadouken! Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Now I wasn't a fan of Jago in the original, but I do like Jago in this one because he has like this badass tattoo. And like as the fight goes on, it eventually like covers his entire body and is like the source of his power.
Oh, so it's like Hiei's dragon tattoo in Yu Yu Hakusho,
Essentially, yes.
which he cannot control. He is the most OP character in that show, and he can't even control his own ability. Rip.
Agreed. I'm also a fan of Rash from Battletoads as a character
You're talking to someone who's literally never
because
played Battletoads.
yeah, and General Rom from Gears of War is also a playable character.
Okay.
Yeah, but I enjoy it. In fact, the only gripe I have against it is that it's an Xbox and PC exclusive because I feel
Uh,
like PS yeah, PS4 owners are missing out on a really
yeah,
really solid
of
fighter.
course. Um, but yeah, back to Mortal Kombat. Like, we have a movie here. First off, the only other source material that we have as far as movies was from the 90s.
Very true. Was
And
that
like,
95? Holy
yeah.
crap, that's been
And here,
25 years.
uh-huh. And here's the thing too. Here's why I didn't like here's why I felt like people kind of set their expectations a little too high and they got disappointed and then they're mad about it. Um, you're gonna get mad about a movie or like you're gonna have like gripes over a movie that's literally based on a fighting game that has no real story to it except for the rivalry between Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Like, and I thought it was great to set that as the foundation in this movie because then that sets up for sequels. Like, okay,
Exactly.
now we've established that they've been rivals since like literally ever, and this guy now is like the descendant of Scorpion, and he's gonna kick some ass hopefully, and like, oh, I have complaints about that main character. I really do. I have
I
complaints about the
do. And
character,
one of
and
the
I have complaints about the direction they took his character in. Has nothing to do with the actor. The actor is great and he's handsome, so it's alright.
That's fair, but some of the crazier things that I've heard against Mortal Kombat, like someone was like, the movie is disrespectful to the lore because Mortal Kombat has one of the greatest lores in video game history, and it's like, hold up, time out, bro. Mortal Kombat
but
doesn't even
this,
have one of the best lores in fighting game history.
but also, like, how are you
Two,
going to say that it's disrespectful to the lore when you've made it very clear that you know nothing of the lore?
exactly, and like Mortal Kombat has been rebooted more than DC. Like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
And then there was another thing. It was like, oh, I don't get the big deal why Scorpion has to be the main focus of everything Mortal Kombat related. I'm like, but in the same token, you mentioned the lore.
Right. And
Scorpion and
Scorpion
Sub
is the
Zero.
main lore.
That's the whole basis of the game.
Like, the whole, like, like, we know Hanzo and Bihan had a long rivalry that went back to the feudal era Japan. Like, How are you going to fault them for literally staying
There's no-
true to the history of those characters? And you know what? Honestly,
yeah, just
the fact that it took three people, including a ghost from hell, to beat Sub-Zero was very accurate because everybody knows that Sub-Zero, next to like as far as like his combo strengths and everything, is one of the most OP characters in the game.
that's very true.
And
That's very fucking true.
I will say, if you main a Sub-Zero, just say that you cheat at Mortal Kombat and be done with it. You literally picked an easy fighter.
I'm just gonna freeze you for the next 6 rounds. Enjoy, bruh.
Right. Like
But
I'm gonna like how is that like I know it's not fair, but like literally how is that fair?
I like I said, aside from the fatalities, I wasn't expecting too much. Um, I got what I wanted out of it,
Yeah.
but the movie's far from great, but it is decent, and
Mm-hmm.
decent to me is acceptable
Yeah.
because we all know how video game based movies go.
Right. Of course. I mean, with the exception of Sonic the Hedgehog, which I have yet to see, but apparently that was like really good.
Sonic was fantastic, and actually, in my opinion, is probably one of the best performances Jim Carrey has ever done.
You ate your words when you saw that movie because you were like, "Oh man, this
I
is gonna
did.
be trash."
I saw that picture of Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
And then you saw
And
the
then I saw
movie,
the movie,
stir fried your words,
and I
ate
was
them
like,
up.
I fucked up. I fucked up. I'm okay with that. I will eat those words proudly. I fucked up.
Listen,
I know Jim
honestly,
Carrey may never see or hear this, but I fucked up, and I am sorry.
no, that's easily that looked like he looked awesome in that also. Like not even just his performance, but like he looked great.
He looked like he had a lot of fun, and especially with everything he's gone through
Of
in the last decade,
course. Of course.
he looked like he had so much fun
About
doing
it,
this movie.
about as much fun as I think Ryan Reynolds has fun doing Deadpool. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Absolutely. He also, speaking of Ryan Reynolds, he also had a crazy fun time playing Pikachu.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. Because I'm just picturing him going completely off the rails in the recording studio because you don't have to worry about a camera being on him.
Like, I need a Detective Pikachu Deadpool crossover now. Like, this is the thing.
Oh my god, like all like the artist depictions of like Pikachu in a Deadpool costume, and I'm like, oh god, you really don't have to do this.
Like, no, we didn't ask for this. I get it, but no,
Yeah, like
no.
that's cringe, but also great for you.
Adore. Yeah, like, good. I'm glad you put all the time and effort, but why? Don't do this.
Any
Stop
Deadpool
it.
crossover, I'm like, did we have to do that? um, but a theory that I have actually, because like I know that a lot of people are very upset over Goro getting killed off. I know that people are very upset over that because people were very excited over it because you saw him in the trailer and he looked awesome. CGI four-armed, you know,
Right.
beast. I don't know if you remember, but I think it was the main character's wife who mentioned something about, oh, before another four-armed beast comes here or something. Something about another
Yeah.
four-armed beast. So my theory is the sequel's going to either introduce Kintaro or Shiva.
Ooh. The only other Shokan woman. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I'm honestly hoping Shiva because she's got that creepy spider jump that she does in trilogy.
Oh yeah.
When you do
I
like down, down, up, and then she just goes.
I I I also have the theory that with the exception of what was her name? Nitara and Reiko. I don't think any of those characters are like dead.
You know what? I think they're gonna focus on bringing in like more of the classic characters before they bring in any new
Yeah,
characters. Like Johnny Cage. They set that up for Johnny Cage to come into the picture so beautifully. I'm sorry, I love it.
they
I know people
really
were mad
did.
that he wasn't in it, but like you can't. Here's the thing: if you put too many characters in it, it's gonna get lost on people.
Exactly. And that was a big thing that James Wan and Simon McCoy both said. And it was like Johnny Cage is too big of a character
You can't
to put in a
just
movie and then relegate to like a side character. Like he
yeah.
has to be, you know.
He's either gonna be like that anti-hero like Hasha, kind of like how Kano was.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like they're basically just gonna have him stand in the spot that Kano was in. Where he's like that hot shot
I would
anti-hero.
I would just like to throw out there that Kano needs his own film.
He does. That
I
was
need a Kano
actually like really
spinoff.
funny. He's really funny.
I
And
need
his
a
whole
Kano spinoff.
his banter with Cabal was beautiful.
Oh yes. Yes.
I loved it. It was great. My other complaint about this movie, besides the main character being, the equivalent of a wet sponge, um, was why did they have to like all right, it was one thing. It's one thing to have like a disembodied omnipresent voice saying fatality or brutality, but to have them mumble it to themselves like they're off some kind of medication. That was a
um
little cringe. That was a little cringe to me. I kind of, especially when what's his name? Oh my god, why can't I think of the guy with the blade hat? I mean, it's him too.
Kung,
Kung
Kung
Lao.
Lao.
When Kung Lao whispered it to himself, I'm like, calm down. You're at like a 10. I'm gonna need you to take it to like a 0.
I th- okay, I get the gripe, but the only reason they get a pass for me is because at least this time when he just blurted out the words flawless victory, it was legitimately a flawless victory.
Yeah, but he really didn't have
Because
to do.
but I think back to like the 95 movie where Liu Kang kills Shang Tsung and then goes flawless victory. And I'm like, bro, he kicked your ass for the first 11 minutes of that fight. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah. And like they made Shang Tsung terrifying in this movie. When they showed
Yeah,
him
they
like
really played up the
stealing the
evil
soul and
sorcerer thing.
everything, I was like, oh my god. Like we're really like you're really like setting the whole atmosphere with this guy. I felt
I
that
feel like at
Raiden was
least
too zen.
oh,
Raiden was
you
too
didn't like
zen.
Raiden?
He was too zen. He is literally a thunder god. There's nothing zen about that.
Very true. I I don't know. One thing that rating gave me is now whenever one of my friends leaves or a customer pisses me off, I just go, be with your family. Get the fuck out my face. Go, be with your family.
Also, I'm sure a lot of people were expecting this. Um, remember when the main character like had that that armor coming up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be some kind of like really cool rendition of Scorpion's uniform. And what we got was basically the Mortal Kombat bronze kneecap.
Don't make me use these. The
Stop.
bronze kneecap.
Oh my god, someone needs to like meme that immediately of him like holding up the blades on his arms, like, don't make me use these.
Don't make me use these. The bronze kneecap. Oh my god.
Yeah.
My big issue with well, actually the movie itself, it's like, bruh, the shade that they just kept throwing Sonya's way.
That was so mean. Like, oh, you don't have the mark. You can't do the thing.
Like
Whatever.
Kung Lao was just like, oh, why is you here?
Who invited you to the
Why?
cookout?
Like, bruh.
Yo.
Who the fuck? Y'all just letting anybody in.
Brayden, you will have words. Because I have many
Like,
of them.
who this bitch? And like Raiden was like heavy on it too. Like, you can't fight. And he just looked at Sonya like, what's up,
Like, how are you-
colonizer?
Like, how are you gonna be like that to someone who literally has a military background? You can't fight. I'm pretty sure she's pretty handy when it comes to hand-to-hand combat.
Like you ain't got the mark though. Like,
Yeah, you don't got the mark. Your military background means nothing.
Raiden was just like, you can't fight. You're like you angry. You don't even go here.
She doesn't even go here.
You don't even go here. Like, do you go here? No.
Sonya
like-
Blade. Sonya Blade, aka the girl without the dragon tattoo.
It's like so good. It's like, you get a mark, you get a mark, you get a mark, and none for Gretchen
Not
Wiener. Not you. None for Sonya Blade.
Poor girl, and then she got the mark. She stole the mark from Kano. Like, like I bet.
Who in turn stole it from. I need to know who Kano killed, because apparently that's how he got his mark.
Yeah. Oh.
He got it from someone he killed. So I want to know who he killed.
Maybe Katana. They had her.
He mentions it being a
display.
guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but he
I don't
mentioned it
remember
being
much
a
about
guy.
that. Okay.
He said he slit his throat.
Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? I'm like running circles. See, I feel like in the sequels we're gonna be introduced to like Noob Saibot and Ermac and all of them.
Right. And that's another complaint that, again, is justified, but I also get it. Like the tournament itself.
See, here's the thing. Like, I get that you wanted a tournament and everything, but you also have to remember that these games literally are comprised of all different stages that aren't tournament
Right,
arenas.
exactly.
Like, I loved that they hinted at the pit with Jax.
Right.
When he finally got his arms. People were photoshopping like the paper clips. Safety pins.
So
I was like, I'm sitting here like holding my head, just like, guys, it's for character development.
Jesus.
I
Now
was a wimp before metal arms, and now I'm a jerk.
I'm a jerk, and everybody loves me. It did make me laugh, as cheesy as it was. But after he fucking crushes Reiko's head, he just looks and he goes, "Yeah, these motherfuckers work."
But see, that was normal, not that would have been that's normal, not him being like brutality. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I would have lost it. I would have just got up and left the room, just like, you know what, I can't watch this anymore. This is painful.
When
The one thing that I did wish went differently with that one is him uppercutting I forgot the other character's name, but uppercutting him so he fell to the pit bottom where you like listen, if you played trilogy
yeah,
and you remember the pit bottom, that was probably one of the most traumatizing stages in that entire game because that had the
and it got
disembodied
worse.
heads on the spikes and the bodies all in the background. Ugh.
And then I love how in Mortal Kombat 2, they were like, so the pit with all the spikes and and all the disemboweled body parts. Nah, fuck that, which is straight concrete.
Oh,
just straight concrete.
my favorite brutality is the bell tower one. If you uppercut them in just the right
Oh, we go
spot,
through all the
they go
floors.
through all the floors.
They just go through all the floors. And
Ding dong, the bitch is dead.
I also just recently learned, and I've been playing Trilogy for years,
I love
that the
trilogy.
Pit of Hell actually had a state like that. The Pit of Hell had a stage fatality. I never knew that.
It what?
Yes, if you uppercut them in the right spot, they just go into the lava in the background.
Wait, that's kind of like doesn't the sewer also have a stage fatality?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, just in hell.
just in hell.
Oh, that's
My
dope. I gotta
my
try
favorite
that.
my favorite stage fatality by far is the subway.
When they get hit by the train.
So you just see like this little silhouette of them get hit by a train and get like ragdolled across the screen.
Like you're this otherworldly
so
fighter with all
bad.
these superpowers, but a train's gonna take you out.
I'm the god of thunder and lightning. Oh yeah, I'm the Q to Coney Island, bitch. Like, what happened to Raiden? Oh, the god of thunder and lightning. He had to catch a train.
Oh wait, no, like what happened to him? Like where did he go? Oh, the MTA took him out. He jumped the turnstile.
If you run to the next stop, you'll probably find him.
You'll find him there. You also find him over there. You might find him all over there. He might be on the stairs
There's
somewhere.
a little bit of him on the wall.
You can see the MTA custodian like shoveling remains off the wall.
And he's like, this has happened so many times that now he's like completely unfazed.
I can't believe I gotta do all this shit. I don't get paid enough for this.
He's like training some new guys. Some new guys like, oh my god! And the custodian's just like, Melina. She was such a young girl.
And he
Shame
has
about
like
the teeth though.
he has like meanwhile he has like a marker board in his little office that's just like days without an accident thanks to Shao Kahn. It's
like it's gotten
negative 5,000 or whatever.
It's gotten so bad that like that OSHA now just has to prepare you for Mortal Kombat tournaments happening in the subway.
The zero that's been on the marker board is now like permanently on there. You can't get it off.
Like, oh no, oh no.
Like, sir, we can't. It was like, how come I can't like change the zero? Oh, I had to just put it on with Sharpie.
And also, you just hear another body hit the wall. Goes that. That's why.
Yeah,
Zero
that's why I don't
stays.
change it.
This is why zero stays. And suddenly you're wondering why there hasn't been any rain in like 6 months. Because rain got taken out by the A.
Oh, he took the L by taking the A.
Literally took the L. Right to the face.
And now he's food for the sewer rats.
Have fun, Mr. Aiden. Enjoy the interaction.
This big, like, cat-like rats that just kind of scurry through the subway. Like,
one of the rats has his little rice hat on.
Shut up.
Oh,
Oh,
poor
no.
Raiden, but he's adorable.
The other rats got Kung Lao's hat, blade hat. It has no idea why it can't stop killing the other rats.
Everything I touch dies. Want to see my hat? Oh, my God.
Master Splinter got his hands on Kung Lao's hat.
And now we know where Raphael got his sigh.
Oh my God. Those turtles won't listen to me. They'll listen to me now.
Now you do what I say.
But like, yeah, no, I thought that movie was great though. Like for what it was really great. It's like being like, oh, like disappointed that like the Silent Hill movie wasn't a masterpiece. Like for what it was, it kind of was actually.
Yeah, actually, and I know like you mentioned my list earlier that you think I should rank Silent Hill higher than I do.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and here's why I kind of figure out like I kind of figured why you had it pretty low, like story wise. I think from what I could recall from like videos that I've watched, like it did kind of stray from the original storyline of the games. Not only that, that CGI did not age well at all.
Not at all. The sequel also kills it for me.
Don't even mention that sequel.
I
can't
paid to
see
see
like
that, and I was like,
I'm so sorry. Can you like write a letter demanding like compensation for that?
what?
That was a horrible, horrible sequel. People are like, people justify it like, oh, but this is the closest to the games that it gets. Like, literally, that matters none to me. That was bad because
That
you
was
could
none.
tell.
We do not care.
Yeah, we really don't care because that movie was just literally all of your worst nightmares, literally your worst fears, dragging on for 2.5 hours.
Yep.
Between the butcher with the butcher with the guy that he was like slaying, that he was like flaying like a pig. The guy had a plastic bag on his head. Like, do I really need to see that? No, I don't. I don't need to see some guy suffocating on his own oxygen and his own blood. Thank you. Also, I really did not need to see a woman turning into a mannequin. That is literally my worst nightmare. I jumped at the mannequin scene in the playable trailer for Resident Evil 7. I nearly threw.
Really?
I couldn't handle that. I was like legit scared. They didn't even do anything. They didn't even do anything. And I'm like freaking out. And like I'm thinking, hold on, I was a scare actor at a haunted house. How is this scaring me?
This right here is where I draw the line. No, we're done.
Mannequins that
Fucking
do
done.
nothing. Mannequins that just stand there. That's where I draw the line. But
I'll
the
teach you to stand around and do nothing.
I couldn't make the character move fast enough down those stairs because you pressed a button and they shifted, and I was like, no, and yeah, that's when I almost threw the controller. They didn't do anything, but
Right.
the mannequin spider in Silent Hill Revelations, that almost sent me into another dimension. Because that was
Jesus.
actually scary. That was actually the scariest thing that I ever witnessed in my entire life, and I want none of it.
Like we are good on this. But
Yeah. And then like
I appreciate
another thing that pissed me off
like
about that movie though was like not only did it come like way later than the first one came out, and like it was so unnecessary, but also you could tell that it was clearly trying to cash in on the whole 3D fad that was going on at the
oh
time.
yeah, absolutely.
When she fought
Absolutely.
that blade monster that had like the
Yeah,
stiletto
that was
legs,
bad.
yeah, you could tell
Yeah.
that was bad. It was just
I
bad.
I didn't yeah, I don't mind Silent Hill. As far as video game movies go, I feel like the horror games should, be the closest thing to decent movies, but those always are somehow the ones
Right.
that those are the ones that never pan out. And I do appreciate Silent Hill. It's just
Yeah.
and I can't believe I'm at the point in, our lifetimes we could actually say it, but there are actually better video game movies out there.
Yeah. um the one franchise that I kind of do wish they would make a movie though, because this did set the whole standard for survival horror, is Clock Tower. Clock Tower needs a
I would
movie.
love Clock Tower movie. I would love a Clock Tower movie, but it would have to be made by the right director.
Yeah. I think James Wan could do
I
that.
don't want it. Yeah, I don't want it to be one of those things. We have the rights. We're gonna make a movie, so here's a movie.
Yeah, no. It has to be the right person, and James Wan is that right person. James Wan,
I'm
if you're listening.
thinking. I could see James Wan also in the same token.
Guillermo del Toro.
Who's it? Who's another? Del Toro definitely. Was that the French Alexandre Aja,
Mm-hmm.
the guy who made High Tension, Piranha, all those.
Yeah.
I would even say, yeah, no, those would be the ones. Yeah, Alexander, James Wan, Del
And
Toro definitely.
and the thing is, I feel like it would have to have the same tone as the original Japanese version that was never released outside of Japan.
Exactly.
The one that's like literally the most stressful thing ever. Because it's literally just
I think I tried.
it's like a point and click. But
I
for
tried to play
super,
the original Clock Tower
it's hard.
when I was in like 7th grade. Yeah.
It's really hard. It took me like many attempts to actually figure out what I'm supposed to do, like how to navigate it. Because it's very trial and error.
Actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think the only one I've ever finished was 3. And even that was like a chore.
They're hard. They're pure
Yeah.
trial and error, and you just have to like really think. But the thing with the thing that made the Super Nintendo one very unforgiving was that there was really no like checkpoint or anything.
Yeah.
There was no checkpoint. You had like no map to really go off of or anything. And that was Super Nintendo. I feel like I would expect something like that out of like a Nintendo game, like early Nintendo.
Yep.
So to have like
It
that,
was a
but
fun time.
that added so much to the fear playing that game. That made it scary, is that you really had to like use your own discretion to figure out what to do.
Right.
And you really had to like
And
make that effort to avoid the scissor man.
Lizard Man. Still one of the more jarring video game villains.
Yeah, but in the Super Nintendo one, he just looks like an old man in like a schoolboy's uniform from like London or something. He comes in with garden shears.
Fair. That's fair. It's terrifying, but fair. But
He
yeah,
just
I mean in
busting
the in
through
the
the
gra-
ceiling.
Ooh, the shears, the shears. It's sheer
Oh,
terror.
oh my god.
I had to, I'm
Don't
sorry.
do like a fan made video, a fan made movie of Clock Tower. It's
Mm,
sheer terror.
it's sheer terror. Um, but in the grand scheme of like video game movies, yeah, Silent Hill it's good, but again, and this is a thing now that there are better adaptations.
Yeah.
Like they get so much shit, but I loved Prince of Persia.
Here's the
I have
thing.
gripes about that movie that can go on for days, but
But the
the
thing
movie
is,
itself is enjoyable.
the source material is like one of the most broken games like ever.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt.
So like I think it's a testament that the movie was even halfway decent because the game's not even
Right,
good.
exactly. I also enjoyed Rampage because
Yeah, it's an arcade game.
giant animals destroying. Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, it's like saying like, oh, I didn't like Mario because X, Y, and Z. Like you're basing your opinions on a movie that's based on a platformer.
Now, see, I have a soft spot for Super Mario Brothers. For everything terrible about that movie, there's so many
The
other
Goombas.
enjoyable elements. Oh, okay, so I know people shit on the Goombas, but that scene where they're all in the elevator and they all just start dancing to the music, it cracks me up every time, and I
But why did
can't
they have to
explain
look like
why.
mobsters? Why did they give them suits?
Oh, but then there's also the Velociraptor that was supposed to be Yoshi.
Oh my god. What a disaster. Like, I get it, Yoshi's a dinosaur, but oh my god. It's not terrifying.
That was terrifying. Yeah, that was terrifying. But that scene in the elevator, it gets me every time, and I can't explain it, but it does.
See,
Also,
with
fucking King Koopa is just some white guy with cornrows. That I will never get over. You raggedy bitches. You did that to poor Dennis Hopper. May he rest in peace, but you raggedy bitches, I'll never forgive you for the cornrows.
oh, Dennis Hopper. Oh, I think of his Game Grumps when I hear Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper. Yes,
It kind of looks
I'll
like Dennis
never
Hopper.
forgive them.
Cross between Meryl Streep and Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper. Jesus. Um, there are other shit tier like Double Dragon,
Double Dragon's one of those video games that really did not need a movie.
and it's like because of how basic the plot is, you would think that they could manage a kind of passable film.
No,
No.
no. Mm-mm.
But it did give
You
us
give
2
them the
hours of
most
Alyssa Milano, so
you literally give them the most basic like bare minimum and they'll still mess it up. Look at all like
yep.
the anime movies, not even like the animated anime movies. I'm talking like the live action adaptations. And people need to stop telling me, or like people need to stop pretending that just because it's made by a Japanese company with Japanese actors, that by default makes it good. because the Full
Yeah,
Metal
because those
Alchemist
live action Death
movie,
Note movies are trash.
because the Full
Those
Metal
Death Note
Alchemist
movies are
movie,
trash.
oh, the Death Note movies are awful. I paid money to go see that first one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was a
I'm
teenager,
sorry.
okay? I didn't know any better. Also, like,
That's fair.
listen, your only saving grace with the Death Note movies was having the kid from Battle Royale as Light. That was literally
Very
it.
true.
That was it. The Full Metal Alchemist movie was
I love
absolute
Battle
trash.
Royale.
Oh yeah, I would see
I've
it like.
never seen it.
Oh wait, did you watch? Did you watch the show?
Of course. I never
Don't
saw the
watch them.
movie though.
Don't watch the movie.
Okay,
Don't watch
I'll
the
take your
movie.
word for it.
They somehow managed to get all the tragic parts right, but they messed up the entire point of the first season with the priest.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, tell me why. Explain to me why Edward was fighting the. Remember, he fought the chimeras inside the cathedral
Yep.
because nobody was supposed to know that the priest had them.
Yep.
Why was he fighting them in broad daylight in the middle of town square for all the world to see? Everybody saw it. And I was like, what? I was
I
baffled
I I
how they
can't look at
managed to
Full Metal
screw
Alchemist
that up.
anymore.
Like,
I
and here's the
can't look
thing
at
too.
Full Metal Alchemist. Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing too. They also pardon my French, fucked up one of the most important.
Just getting angry.
I'm so mad at this. Why was Hughes's wife pregnant with the daughter that he's obsessed with in the show?
Wait, what?
He didn't even have his daughter yet. The same daughter who in the show he obsessively holds pictures up in his wallet. Hey, here's my daughter. I love her very much. But no, his wife is pregnant with said daughter. So the whole funeral scene is kaput, where she's asking why they're putting daddy in the ground, why he won't wake up. Because she doesn't exist yet. She wasn't even born yet.
Jeez.
Oh, but let's just nail when they try to bring their mother back, when they find out what Show Tucker does to Nina and the dog, and when Hughes gets murdered in cold blood by Envy in the phone booth. Fine, we got the basic plot points, right? No, you didn't. You got like literally the most tragic parts of the show, right? And that's not the whole show.
I love Full Metal Alchemist, but because of people and memes, it ruined Pineapple Pen for me, and I used to love that song. And he's just like, I have a dog, I have a daughter, and I'm like, no, don't do it. No.
Or my favorite is when it's Nina and the dog doing the fusion thing like Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, God, no.
It's so messed up. Or like the cow says moo, the duck says quack, the dog says Edward.
And then there was another meme like that. It was like Twilight, and it was like your Edward, and then it was like mine, and it was like Edward.
Oh my
Like,
god, no.
I hate people so
Ooh.
much.
It's so tasteless, but it's so funny all at the same time because it's like, God, have we sunk that low?
I have legitimately had to threaten to block people, and I was like, if you use that fucking meme on my timeline and I see it, I'm blocking you. How dare you?
But like when it comes to like live action adaptations, yeah, they're so hit or miss. Like no matter who makes them. And like I said, I'm tired of people pretending that like, oh, by default, anything from Japan is good. No. Japan
No.
also gave us
No.
Shoujo Tsubaki, and you're gonna tell me that anything from Japan is good?
Jesus.
Get cultured, please. And there's a whole other subgenre of Japanese horror that nobody should be seeking out. just stick with the paranormal
Unless you're,
stuff and leave it there.
unless unless you're me, because I got a whole episode of the new podcast coming up about it.
Oh my God. Wait, I need to talk about it on there. Wait, can I be on that? Because I have words and opinions.
We can always use one more slaughter slut, of course.
I'd love it. Because I remember
Time
you.
to plug Slaughter Sluts podcast coming soon.
It's like I remember you mentioning an episode about Japanese horror, and I was wondering, like, when is he doing that episode?
It's coming.
Good, because I have opinions on a certain subgenre of Japanese horror that is so beyond
Oh, it's coming.
depraved, and like you really wonder how they get away with the stuff that they show.
That was me with Grotesque, which I'm gonna have to get into on that episode. But I was like, this movie exists just to fucking exist.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
Well, that's like Shoujo Tsubaki. Like that's like there's nothing about this original source material that warranted this anime adaptation. Yet here we are. It's beautifully done though, because it looks like you took like the woodblock paintings and animated it. So it's very beautifully done.
Exactly.
The story, there's nothing redeemable about that story. There's nothing redeemable
Absolutely not at
about
all.
what happens in that movie. There's nothing. And that got a live action adaptation. I was like, you didn't even want an animated adaptation, and it was straight banned for a while. But we got a live action. And who looks at that and thinks, this needs a live action treatment? The main character's like
The Japanese.
11. The main character's like 11.
But what makes me laugh about that is that they release things like that, but in Japan, the violence in Mortal Kombat is toned down.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, they toned down some of the violence in Mortal Kombat in Japan. I also find it funny that the movie came out in Australia because Australia has banned Mortal Kombat for the better part of 20 years.
Wait, here's my whole thing about Japan toning down the violence for Mortal Kombat. Have you seen Duran Gray's music videos? And those are okay. Those are okay.
It's funny you say that because Clever Sleazoid is legitimately one of my favorite videos of all time.
Can we talk about how
If for no
guys, if anyone listening knows about Duran Gray's music videos, you know exactly what we're talking about.
I remember the first time I saw that it was on MTV2, and I woke up at like 3 in the morning and I couldn't find the remote. And the first thing I see is him just screaming into the TV, and I was like,
dude,
I've died. This is hell, isn't it?
Waking up at an odd hour just to see Duran Gray on your TV was unreal because you never thought it would ever happen.
Yeah.
Because
That was
like
back when MTV played videos.
right. But like that's like because like when you like got into them, like when I got into them, like in I want to say like 2005 maybe, like at the time they were still so removed from the US, from the US audience, you know, and trying to find the uncensored version of Obscure was a chore because YouTube was like, absolutely not.
No.
No.
Nah.
No. Go to therapy if that's really what you want to watch. Wait, did you see their new video?
No.
It's bonkers. I have to send it to you. It's
Please do.
like it's everything that you would ever expect of them. I found out that supposedly the woman who is in the video is the same woman who played the geisha in Obscure. And I was like,
No way.
Eat a baby head and then 20 years later give weird alien birth to a full-grown 40-year-old Japanese man. Circle of life?
Sounds legit.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'll take it.
My favorite thing ever is all the promo pictures that they took. They're all wearing their outfits that they wore in the video, except for Kyo. He had to like, just put on whatever he found because he was naked in the video.
Oh Jesus. No. Kill, man.
I'm like, this man stresses me out on a primal level.
Butt ass naked. Fucking kill.
He would though. Like, if you ever expect anything less from him, you don't know this band.
Very true. I say the same thing about like Till from Rammstein. Anytime Rammstein's in the news and the people like, well, they did this and they did this, and I'm like, yeah, that's their whole shtick.
Yeah. Listen, with Dorian Gray, like if their music videos haven't been banned at some point, you don't know that band. You don't know
Yeah,
them.
like you don't listen to them.
No.
But
Also, can we talk? I just need to like mention that I'm still not over the fact that 4 of the 5 members follow me on Twitter.
that's amazing.
Shinya has yet to follow me. Follow for follow, Shinya. But like, literally,
That's amazing though.
but all the rest of it, even though like it's through like the accounts that they made for the new single, which is whatever, it's fleeting. I don't care. The point is, they follow me on Twitter. I saw like
Oh yeah.
Toshia and Kaoru followed you, and I was like, what? And then like a
Like
few days later,
for real?
a few days later, Kyo followed me back, and then a few days later, Dai followed me back, and I was like, all right. I mean, I have no content, but okay.
Thanks.
like,
Hey
like
guys,
no
thanks.
no
Appreciate
content that
this.
you can relate to, but welcome. Like the only thing they could relate to was the picture of the onigiri that I posted with the Boss coffee, because that's the pinnacle of health and fitness is washing down eel and pickled plum with coffee.
That that's how I felt though. That's how I first felt when Maria Lark followed me back on Twitter.
Oh, her Twitter is
When she,
lit. I love
I was
it.
like, oh, it is. Oh God, she gives me life so much. I am so thankful to like. I'm so
She's
thankful to know
great.
her.
She's great. But like, man, to have like if my 16 year not even 16, if my 15-year-old self could see like if I had like I know this is so cliche, but if I had a time machine, I'd be going back to like my 14-year-old self, just like Duran Gray followed you on Twitter, by the way. And I'd be like, what the hell's a Twitter?
You know what? That would be me though. I would go back. I would find like 16, 17-year-old me and be like, you're gonna grow up, you're gonna have a daughter, she's gonna be just like you. And the co-star of one of your favorite shows right now, you guys are gonna be friends in like 12 years. I promise you, this is a thing. This is a thing.
You'd be like, what the hell's a podcast?
What is a podcast? What's a podcast? People make YouTube channels?
What's a
They don't just
YouTube?
upload
I don't
random.
even know what that is.
Yeah, 16-year-old me would not believe in what 34-year-old me has done. Like, what,
Listen,
really?
and listen, honestly though, like I forgot that like Google didn't originally own YouTube. I forgot
Yep.
about that until someone mentioned it in a video, like about something, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Google had like movie.google or something like that, where
Yeah.
you could
And then
upload your own
showing my
stuff."
age, I remember when Google wasn't the number one search engine.
Yes, I remember that too.
Yeah.
We're older than Google.
Yep. I
That's
am a
nuts.
I am I'm a member of the Ask Jeeves generation.
Ask Jeeves. That was it.
I am of the Ask Jeeves.
Yes.
We
So,
had Ask Jeeves,
mm-hmm.
Lycos. which I just discovered was still a thing.
You know what? You know what? Ask Jeeves reminds me of that one joke in Master of Disguise that no kid today will understand. When his grandfather asks him, "Did you ask the Jeeves?"
Did you ask the Jeeves?
No
And
kid
now
would
it's so bad because
understand
now
that.
if you go to ask.com,
Mhm.
there's no Jeeves anymore. They fired Jeeves.
Jeeves, no. I hope
Jeeves
he.
has been relieved of his duty.
No, Jeeves needs to come back. I'm offended that
Yeah.
Jeeves is no longer here. Dated
I would tell
internet stuff.
16 I would tell 16-year-old me that we can now stream music, and please do not download underscore evanescence underscore bring me underscore back to life.mp3.
The amount of Trojans that came in with every LimeWire download. Oh my god.
That Linkin Park what I've done.exe file. That is not a
And
song.
that's and
Don't
that's and
do
that's
it.
done D0NE.
D0NE.
Well, oh my god, but like wow, the internet's changed so much since we were kids. Like it's like
Now
you
don't have
don't
to pay for movies.
right. Right. Now you don't have to worry about being on the phone at the same time as someone being on the internet.
Oh, those
You
are the
don't really
days.
realize you don't really realize like how much it actually has changed until you see like videos like on YouTube like talking about like those questionable deep web websites that look like they hadn't been edited since Windows XP.
Windows XP.
And you're like,
Dear God.
oh, like the internet really has changed like significantly.
This is a thing. Wow.
Yeah, but like also like thinking back to, also to during grade, when you're first watching these videos on YouTube, the best quality that you could get was like 480p. Now you can watch like all their videos
Yep.
from like their early, like I'm talking like the Gauze album. You could watch those videos in like 4K. And it's like, oh my God, I'm watching these videos from like 1997 in Ultra HD. This
Okay.
is insane. I get to watch Acacia eat a baby head in Ultra HD.
You know what? That's how I feel because, and going back to the original topic, the 1995 Mortal Kombat was released on 4K, and I was like,
In 1995.
no, yeah, I gotta see this. I'm like, someone actually went through the trouble of making this in 4K. I need to see this.
Doesn't surprise me considering there's someone on YouTube who uploaded the entirety of Richard Simmons' Dance Your Pants Off from 1998.
I used to have a VHS.
I had that VHS too. My sister had like that, Tone It Uptown and Tone It Downtown.
Oh
You
my
use
God, turn it up
the
down.
resistance bands.
I wonder what Richard Simmons is up to these days.
I hope he's okay. Like I hope he's living his life. You know, just chilling.
Toning it up.
Just toning it up, toning it down.
Toning it up. Tone it down.
Like you watch his old, like you watch all those old videos, and you're like, wow, he was like really like into his job. He was very passionate about it.
Very, very, very energetic.
Like, God, like most like personal trainers don't even have that kind of energy.
Not old Richie. He knows what's up.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, he does. He knows that you need all that pep in your step to burn those calories.
I'm like, I'm like staring in the bedroom. I have no idea what the hell my child is doing, but she's not asleep. She is holding a whole ass dance recital in the middle of her bed. And she's like looking at me because she knows. So she just stopped.
Oh my god. Jeez. But yeah, no. Back to the original topic. That you can when you compare it to the first one that we got in 1995 that we did not ask for, but we got anyway. Um, as far as like the effects go, Kano ripped out Reptile's heart. Like you weren't gonna get that in Annihilation.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Also, I
Um,
loved that they made Reptile like they kept Reptile like true to like himself. You
yeah,
know,
like they made like an actual reptile.
an actual reptile, like and like disappearing to like camouflage with the wall and everything,
Yeah,
because that was his whole shtick.
but Kano right from the beginning, I was like, yes,
Oh
this
my
is
god.
Kano absolutely steals the show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he really did. But like, why did they have to make Sonya like some like conspiracy theorist?
I know, right?
That
Fucking
kind of
tinfoil hat
bothered
Sonya.
me. Yeah. Like, why did you like all she was missing was the tinfoil hat? Like, why did you have to make her like that? That's so disrespectful.
Um, I do love I love the opening scene of the movie by far.
Yes.
Like Bihan's arrival, murdering
Yes.
Hondo's family. I love that entire scene
Mm-hmm.
was well, like regardless of how anybody feels about the movie, that scene itself was brilliant.
Oh my god, it was. It really was. And to have Hanzo come back like that was lit. Oh my
Yeah,
god, like you
that was.
you pissed off your rival so much that he came back from the pits of hell to end you.
And Homeboy waited 4 centuries.
Mm-hmm.
Four. You know what? You know what kind of beef has stirred up in 400 years? Like you getting
Imagine.
all the hands now.
Imagine, you know, like, get over here because you're gonna
Like
catch these
that man,
hands.
that man had 400 years to think about what the fuck you did to him. Like he stewed in that shit. Motherfucker
Now
sat in
that's a
hell like this
grudge.
for 400 years. He sat in hell like this for 400 years.
The most like bitch owes me $5 kind of look.
I'm a whoop Beyond's ass when I see it.
Man, he owes me a black and mild fucking.
Fucking Scorpion was in hell for 400 years, just sitting like L in a chair.
When I went to see the Death Note movie, like
Knees
literally
up his
everybody
hands
was
up.
cosplaying as Ellen. They were crouching in the chairs, and I was like, "Oh my god, we really don't have to be this way."
See the way my arthritis is set up. Yeah, I ain't doing that. No, we ain't doing that. I'll cosplay
Um,
L, but sit in the chair the normal way hurts me.
what you call it? But I do.
Like
I
this right
also
here,
like.
this is uncomfortable. This is uncomfortable. I'm like, nope, I'll feel this tomorrow.
Oh my god. So what I do like though is that now because the aggressive Sub-Zero is gone, we're gonna get the nicer by comparison Sub-Zero. We're not gonna say
Like,
that
still kind of a scumbag,
he's
but
not sunshine and rainbows, but he's significantly less awful than his brother.
it's better than the alternative.
Yeah, you know, the one that brutally murdered Hanzo's entire family and clan.
Well, look, sorry for what my brother did, man. I ain't got shit to do with that.
we're possibly gonna get unmasked Sub-Zero
I'd like to
because
see
that's his
that.
brother.
I would also like to see Katana.
We did get oh no, yeah, Kitana, yeah. I always get them confused.
Johnny
Lena is
Cage,
the one with
obviously.
the Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
Smoke.
I'd like to see Smoke.
But I want to see like the cyber
Um,
ninjas.
Yeah, Smoke, Sector, Cyrax, definitely.
Because the cyber ninjas were lit.
I'd like to see Quan Chi.
See, I'm not as familiar with the newer characters.
I like
Which one was Quan Chi again?
He
like the
was
psychic type of one with the eye,
he
like the
kind
third
of
eye or
he
whatever.
kind of looked like no, that's I forget his name, but he kind of looked like Uncle Fester dressed like Shao Kahn.
That narrows it down.
Yeah, it does.
I want to see
I know
Motaro.
probably. I'd like to see Motaro. As far as like newer characters, honestly, I really want to see Aaron Black. I really want to see Aaron Black in a Mortal Kombat movie. I can't explain it. Don't ask me why. But we need Aaron Black in a movie. And he needs to be played by the guy who's currently playing Superman.
Henry Cavill?
I have already mapped. No, in the TV show.
Oh,
it should be a bit more specific.
Okay. All right.
And Superman and Lois. I've
We have
already
that
mapped
guy.
this out. He needs to be Aaron Black.
Whatchamacallit? And I also hope that if I had it my way, I would have the the sequel coming up. I would have the sequel tease Noob Saibot. Because Noob Saibot is technically Bihan.
Sub-Zero. Yeah. Sub-Zero. But
back with a vengeance. But like they should. I feel like they should. It's only right because like you got you go through the whole movie thinking, yeah, Bihan is gone. Surprise.
Yep.
No, he is not. And here's the thing too. Here's what I don't understand. Game wise, I have gripes with Noob Saibot. They nerfed him.
Oh, about him being OP as well.
No, they nerfed him in Trilogy.
Oh, he's fucking ruthless in 10 and 11.
Yeah, but they nerfed him in Trilogy. That was bad. It was terrible. He had horrible combos.
Was it his fatality in Trilogy, the one where he like grabbed you and just like bounced around the screen until you exploded?
Yeah, pretty much. Just stupid fatality.
That's so ridiculous.
It's literally like he's like literally just a compression chamber as a person.
You just hear it bouncing and it's just an explosion. I'm like, what? What was that even?
Oh god. It took a handbook from I'm gonna stop right there because now I'm gonna get political. And I don't want to get political.
That's fair.
But like, yeah, that was a terrible fatality. What they were thinking with that.
It's almost as bad as when they censored Sub-Zero spine rip.
I'm sorry, they what?
In Trilogy, they censored Sub-Zero spine rip. When he goes to do it, the screen just goes black and you just hear screams.
The game is rated M. Like, what more are you asking for? like
the spine rip was so the spine rip was so iconic. It's literally the reason the ESRB exists. Like, you need to leave it there now. You've created this. But from what I've heard, it wasn't their call
Oh, okay.
to censor the spine rip.
Here's the thing. You know what my favorite thing about those older games was, though? You knew the fatality was going to be bad when the screen froze and everything went black in the background, except for and the characters were just standalone in the middle of the screen. You knew that you were in for it.
Dun, dun,
And then
dun.
oh yeah, the music would get like really like extra ominous. And it was just like drag on like one note.
I love the the extra unnecessary fatalities where the scream would still be trailing on when they're like, Liu Kang wins, and you still hear them screaming, and you're like, oh, come on.
Sonya and Sindel had the same scream in trilogy.
Yep. My favorite sound, and I'm really sad they took it out, was the sound in Mortal Kombat 2 where they sounded like they were either choking on their own blood or trying their best to do like dinosaur impressions.
Those are two wildly different things.
Yeah, because like you would do it and they would just make this sound of like ah, and like,
Or like
I'm like, either they're choking on blood or doing their best dinosaur impression.
wait,
It's a dinosaur.
who, wait, my favorite in
Dinosaur.
trilogy. My favorite in trilogy, by the way, was that random guy who would just come up in the bottom corner in the purple t-shirt. Wait, what does he say? Because I always thought he said whoopsie.
It's Toasty.
Toasty?
Toasty!
Okay. I always called him Steve. I didn't know what his real name was, but I just called him Steve because he looked like a Steve.
He looks like a Steve. It was also that random sound whenever you would knock someone into like I guess that's supposed to be like acid and like the pit, and their skeleton would come up and they would just go, "Aw," and I'm like, "What? Why? Why does this sound exist? It's a skeleton. He shouldn't be capable of any kind of vocal anything."
He ain't got no chords, fam. What is he doing?
Toasty. I need him in a Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh my god, we do. We need random purple shirt guy, aka Steve, coming up just like Toasty.
He just needs to pop up at some point in the movie. Just go Toasty, and it just that's
like
it.
no context
No context
whatsoever. We just need him, and it could be like in like the deepest realm of hell, and then you just see some random purple shirt in the background. Toasty.
Toasty. Perfect opportunity would have been when Scorpion was fucking doing his fatality on Sub-Zero. That would have been a perfect moment for that. Toasty.
What you call it?
I always thought it was Whoopsie too, but as I got older, I
Yeah.
discovered it was Toasty, and I was like, but Whoopsie sounds better.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
Like you break someone's combo and he's just like, oh, whoopsie. Like, you thought.
Whoopsie.
It would have been funnier. I mean, it's like a funnier combo breaker.
Oh, you want to talk about extra? The new announcer in Killer Instinct. I have to send you a video of him just yelling out combos. He's having so much fun with it now.
Oh my god! All I think is my favorite thing ever, even though like I was never able to actually do an ultra combo, was just hearing that ultra, 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 ultra.
My favorite thing about ultras in the new one is that they have their own specific music.
Oh,
And the music literally goes to the beat of the combo.
that's amazing.
So like if
That's
your
actually
ultra starts
amazing.
off, if your ultra starts off with a series of like quick jabs, the music will go dun, 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 dun. And as you go around to kick them, it's like dun, dun, dun. And if you finish with like an uppercut, it goes dun, 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 dun. And I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
That's amazing,
Yeah, it
man.
has its own
Because
music and it's so
like the
awesome.
only thing that, because like literally all I played was that first one for Super Nintendo. So like all I know is monster combo, blaster combo.
Yeah, they still do those. They have Monster Blaster. I think there's Awesome,
Yeah, awesome combo,
Brute,
brutal
Brutal,
combo,
Insane,
insane. Yeah,
yeah,
ultra.
and Ultra. And it's ridiculous. Like some of these ultras that I've seen,
They really amped it
like
up.
this one, yeah, this one guy on YouTube can do like a like 200 hit ultra, and I was like, I would quit.
Yeah, I,
I'd
I, I
legitimately quit if someone did that to
I
me.
would give my letter of resignation. Like I'm resigning from being a fan of this game. This guy ruined it for me.
like, I'm straight up not having a good time.
I came here to have a good time, and honestly, I just got so attacked right now.
Like, I don't even. What is this?
Like, it does not compute. What did you just do? Yo, like, biggest mistake ever was,
Um,
but like, biggest mistake ever was like going to a con and like going into like where they had like all the arcade games set up and everything, and all the TVs with like the console games. Went up to a guy. We were about to play Marvel versus Capcom, I think. I literally outed myself like, hey, I've never played this game before. Please be gentle. This guy was like, nah,
hell nah.
destroyed me. I'm like, yeah, that's not fair. Like, that's not fair. I don't
First
know anything.
time, huh?
Right. And I was like, come on. But, like, yeah, I get it on one hand, but on the other hand, you literally have someone like playing against you who knows nothing of the game. Like, just say that you cheat at fighting games and move on.
As a member of the fighting game community, I can say one thing we all have in common is that we can
Fear.
smell rookie.
Oh, yeah.
Like we know when someone grabs the sticks who has never played before. We're like,
But my favorite thing ever is like when someone like uses all these elaborate combos and you beat them just by button mashing. That's such a blow to their ego. Like
yep.
I spent decades perfecting all these combos, and I'm just like, you button.
Oh, what, dude?
What does this do? Yank.
That was the
Well, that
first
that
time.
that just dragon kicks him into infinity. That's what it does.
The first time my wife ever played Injustice against me, she goes, "Ooh, I'm gonna pick Harley Quinn," and I was like, "Yeah, okay, that's a good starter fighter." So I picked the Flash, and I proceed to like dump on her,
Oh my
and
god.
she goes, "You're supposed to let me win," and I was like, "No, because that is no way to learn how to play.
No, no,
You
no.
will
Like,
eventually get sick of me kicking your ass."
you got to build character playing those games.
Like,
Like,
no, you picked up the controller. This is what you signed up for.
my 12-year-old nephew like has, well, first off, like my sister has like this like big arcade machine that's like just like a big emulator, and it's really awesome. So I put on Samurai Showdown. My 12-year-old nephew came up to me and he has never played that game before. He never tried to play it. And I was like, okay. He picked um the monk with the beads and the huge muscles.
Oh God,
He picked him because he thought that it was going to be an easy win for him.
no, no,
I
no.
smoked him with the one with the kabuki makeup.
That's amazing.
I I beat him, and he's a good sport about it. He's like, he really thought he won. He was like, yeah, I won, and I was like, no, you didn't. And he was like,
No, you didn't.
and he was just like, yeah, I lost.
Ray. Haley actually, Veda came over a few weeks ago,
Mhm.
and she brought her son, and so her son and Haley they were playing
Were they
Marvel
playing
versus
like Tekken or
Capcom.
something like that? Oh, they were playing
No, they were playing
Capcom.
Marvel
Okay.
versus Capcom, and Haley picked the Hulk. So about 3 seconds into the fight, I'm like watching her. I'm like, bro, Haley's kind of got an okay Hulk. Like I'm digging this. Like
Oh my
we with some
god.
practice, we could make this work.
Yeah. Oh
Because
my
Haley's got an alright
god.
Hulk.
Wow. Mm-mm. You gotta introduce them to like Tekken and Street Fighter. Even though like the reason why like I have gripes against those games is because I literally grew up playing Killer Instinct. So I went from Killer Instinct to Mortal Kombat. Like literally all I know is the violent rip your spine out, rip your heart out video games. So
Yep,
playing Street Fighter or Tekken or Samurai Showdown, like it's too stylized. It just ain't for me.
that's fair. And speaking of, I am so glad of all of Kung Lao's fatalities. That's the one they chose for the movie.
Like the
That
buzzsaw
did my
hat,
heart.
that was awesome.
That did my heart
Oh,
so
that was
good.
so
Like
cool.
we were all in the theater, and the second the hat hit the ground and started spinning, all of us collectively were like, yes, yes, yes.
Dude, that was
That's so
awesome.
good.
And like my favorite thing about um Liu Kang, they really they really were just like, we know who like we know who's watching this movie. We know exactly what you people were doing when you would play as Liu Kang.
Yep.
The leg sweep, constant leg sweep.
And I love that Kano calls him out on it. He goes, are you gonna use the same move?
That's literally what you did when you played as Luke. Because if you didn't know his combos, that's all you knew was his leg sweep.
For that fucking sweep. Also, I would also like to credit Ludi Lin, because Liu Kang in this movie definitely has contributed to my bisexual awakening. Because holy shit, man's is handsome.
Yeah, he's very good looking. He's very good looking. Although like people tried to say like, oh like you gonna cast that soft ass Liu Kang in this new movie, and like they always show like the picture of like Liu Kang in Annihilation, and I'm like, listen, like
Who was also very
very
handsome.
handsome. Yeah, like come on,
Avenue was very handsome.
both handsome, both ripped, long hair.
And
I'm
then,
sold. I don't care who plays him.
and my favorite thing is everybody online is like, well, this Liu Kang is soft as fuck. And I'm like, he's a monk.
Yeah,
Soft is kind of their whole thing. Kung
yeah.
Lao
Like
doesn't
they're
look
all
very
about that
intimidating.
non-violence. You know, that's how
Yeah.
monks
Kung
work.
Lao doesn't look very intimidating until he takes the fucking hat off. That's the whole thing.
Everybody gangsta until Kung Lao takes his hat off.
Exactly. Like you're supposed to look at Liu Kang and Kung Lao and think, boy, they look like bitches until you
Right,
decide to throw hands.
and they're like, nah, because Liu Kang's got a whole ass dragon that he can summon, a fire dragon,
Oh,
mind you.
that was so awesome.
Oh, so cool. That was so cool. Everybody gangsta until Liu Kang. Liu Kang.
Everybody got a plan until Kung Lao takes that hat off.
Literally, my favorite thing ever playing as Kung Lao was the combo where he took his hat and just threw it like a frisbee. And like when I
Yeah.
would play as Raiden, my favorite combo was the one where he did like the floaty shove.
Funny show. Oh, he starts
That's
yelling whatever the hell that is. He yells.
I can't even like imitate it because I won't be able to like do it right. But you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, absolutely. Uh, When
Oh,
when I was in high school, I had that as like my text tone.
that's great.
So all you would hear was Raiden's floaty shove cry when it was someone texting me.
I love how we're calling it floaty shove now because
The floaty shove. It's the floaty. It's Raiden's floaty shove.
what else would you call it? Its actual name? I don't know what its actual name is, so I'm calling it floaty shove.
You know what? I gotta look this up now. Raiden's floaty shove.
It's probably some like stupid convoluted name that like nobody cares about, and it's like, all right, we'll just call it floaty shove.
They call it a floaty shove. What are his moves? Power. Give me his move list. Let's go. Raiden's floaty shove. I just vote that we continue to call it
Yes, we have to,
the
and it's
floaty
very
shove.
important. Also, like, this is gonna like sound very bizarre, but I always thought that the model they used in the trilogy for Raiden, if you didn't look at it, like if you looked at it at a very quick, like, very quickly, he almost looked like John Lennon in a rice hat.
I can see that.
And I always thought that as a kid. And I'm like, why does this man look like John Lennon? He's supposed to be an East Asian man with lightning powers, but he looks like John Lennon.
Jesus. So, it turns out that it's actually called the torpedo.
Calling it floaty shove, I don't care.
Yeah, I'm sticking with floaty shove.
See, I told you it's gonna be some stupid name that nobody cares about.
Yep, I'm calling it
Floaty shove. That's the only name for it. That is the only name for it. Also, another thing that I actually did like in the movie was Melina's design. I know that people had like a lot of complaints about everything about her
She was
in the
thick.
beginning, but she was
Yeah.
good. And the fact that they like kept her true to like how she is, like that nasty, like evil clone of Kitana.
Yeah, right.
They made her look as gnarly as possible. And her mouth was gnarly.
That was awesome.
The main character was probably like, what that mouth do?
Pray to Jesus and eat people. Pray to Jesus.
Oh, but like,
See,
I noticed that like,
my
oh, I just had a thought. If Kitana does come into the picture later on, she better grab that fan and do that spinning move that she does with it.
yes.
Mm-hmm. And
I
Sonya
also
better
need
like
Raiden to do floaty shove in the sequel.
floaty shove. I also need Sonya to do
We need a
that
floaty shove.
the floating bicycle kick that she does.
Oh my god, the one that goes upward. You better not fight me at an angle. Or you gonna get. You better not fight me at an angle. You gonna get it.
Don't find me at these exact coordinates on a protractor.
Do not particularly jump up and diagonally.
Because you're dead.
You're gonna meet defeat. You hear me?
You're gonna meet
You are fucked,
defeat.
Yeah,
But
so
literally, though, they will
overall,
meet the feet. They'll meet her feet.
so overall, what would you rank it?
I would say like maybe a 6.5 out of 10.
That's fair. I give it the 7. I'm gonna go for the 7 only because, um, again, I got what I wanted out of it.
Yeah.
I really would have liked to have seen Sonya's fatality,
Yeah.
and
At least she got her rings.
I'm gonna hope. Yeah, she finally got her mark, and I'm gonna hope that Kano isn't dead, because if that's the way that Kano goes, then what the fuck?
That was terrible. It was so
Yeah.
undignified. Yeah.
However, Kano makes up. Kano is responsible for 5 of the 7 that I give it.
But like another thing that I did not like, the one thing I didn't like about his design though, the scarring, like he has a metal plate on his head. Is that really the best that they
Yeah.
could do?
That's why I'm hoping he comes back in the sequel, because I'm
So he
hoping that
has
they
the metal
just
plate and
revive him and give
everything.
him the plate.
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to do. She stabbed him in the eye, so all she has to do is say,
Right.
"Didn't kill him. He just lost an eye, but now there's that giant opening to shoot the beam."
Yeah. You know. I just
Yeah.
hope that
His death is the easiest retcon.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely. And I do hope that at some point Shao Kahn does actually make an appearance instead of just being like an Easter egg.
right.
Like, I need to see some like beefed up shit. Like, have and listen, I need to see Shao Kahn.
Yeah, I agree.
Remember his like upper like listen, he was so OP, but he was very oafish. Very
Yeah.
oafish. You were able to like Sindel had like this little like punch combo that I used to use. I beat Shao Kahn with that. And when he would do that
Um,
uppercut thing, like that floating uppercut, all I had to do was like literally run beneath him.
I used to do the jump kick.
Yeah, like he
I
was
would just jump kick the shit out of him.
like shockingly easy. Like Fulgor in the
Agreed.
original Killer Instinct was harder than Shao Kahn.
Oh, definitely.
And like you go
Definitely.
like your entire childhood thinking like, oh, Shao Kahn is so difficult. Like, no, knock off Darth Vader from Killer Instinct is way worse.
Darth Vader. Oh my god, that's amazing. Knock off Darth Vader. Oh no. That was good. This was fun. It's
Oh,
always a
this was
pleasure to have
really
you here.
fun. So many references. Wow. And then we got off track, but it wasn't as chaotic
No,
as
it's all
the
good.
Power Rangers episode.
I I I love that episode. I do. That is I consider that the crowning moment of the podcast, that episode.
That was a great episode. But let me know about that about the Japanese horror episode with the other podcast. So I want to get on that.
Definitely will do. Thank you for joining me again, B.
Oh, thank you for having me
And
again.
of course, and thank you guys at home for joining me again on the Latino Nerd. I will catch you on the next one, and as always, keep it nerdy.